And Vladimir Milov is an advisor to Alexei Navalny and the former Deputy Energy Minister of Russia. He joins me now from Vilnius in Lithuania. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Thanks.
So, what more are you learning about the current condition of Alexei Navalny? Are you getting any information, and how concerned are you about his failing health?
We are extremely concerned, and unfortunately, I don't think I will be able to provide you anything beyond what everybody already knows, because he's scarcely allowed to be visited by his attorneys and relatives, and the information is very limited. We still were not able to get the authorities to allow independent medical testing or inspection. We essentially, what we know about his condition is largely from how his attorneys physically view him and from his own complaints, and this allows to judge about the severity of his condition at the moment. However, authorities still deny for Navalny to be inspected by the independent medics. So there is very little knowledge, and it only elevates the concern because he's well into the 4th week of his hunger strike.
It is a big concern, of course, and the US has warned of consequences if Navalny dies in Russian custody, and the EU is holding Russia accountable. But President Putin, he's warning countries to stay out of his business and not to cross what he calls the red line. How important is it to you that the international community gets more involved in this situation and actually does more to try to get Navalny released?
It is very important, and on one hand, we appreciate the solidarity of the international community, but on the other, as my colleague Leonid Volkov have said to Christian Amanpour on CNN, we prefer international leaders to act before Navalny dies and not speaking about consequences if that unfortunately happens. So, yeah, we would love to see a much tougher action because there's sort of a unprecedented situation with a brutal, slow killing of a major political opponent in a European country well into the 21st century. That just could not happen. It's unacceptable, not only if Navalny dies, but it's unacceptable that such things happen today. Again, we reiterate that Navalny was denied independent medical inspection for almost 2 months now, since the beginning of serious complaints about his health. He spent over 3 weeks in hunger strike and still denied independent medical testing. So that's unacceptable, and we would obviously welcome more pressure.
Yeah, and of course, at this time, we know protesters across Russia are calling for Navalny's release, but there were fewer people that turned out on the streets than Navalny's allies were hoping for. How concerned does that make you that Russians are perhaps a little intimidated to get out on the streets? And I do want to get your take on whether you think President Putin is feeling the pressure as a result of those protests and how some of the nations like the United States and the EU bloc are feeling about this.
Let me explain, because we had a sudden change of plans. We planned this to be a protest that will be set out for like a month from now, so that people will have to prepare. There will be warmer weather, it will be Saturday or Sunday, so more people would come up sometime in mid-May. But we had to skip that agenda and call it an emergency protest within 3 days. At the end of the working day, yesterday was Wednesday evening. So essentially, it's no surprise that fewer people came than we expected for this great, biggest post-Soviet rally, as one of your correspondents spoke. However, that's still the largest political protest that we have seen in years. And no one else except for Navalny network is capable of getting that many people on the streets. Believe me, this is a big concern for the authorities, judging by the whole array of efforts they used to try to stop people going out on the streets, to intimidate, scare them off, threaten, and so on. Yeah, that's a matter of concern. However, we didn't achieve the big number as we hoped for. But I think this can be explained by emergency circumstances. We will, believe me, in the upcoming months, you will see protests of bigger magnitude.
All right, Vladimir Milov, thank you so much for talking with us. We do appreciate it.